Welcome to the Best Life Show, where we explore how little changes can make a big difference over time. It's not about perfection. It's about growing, learning, and the journey to live a little better.
We interview experts, authors, doctors, and coaches and talk about the topics that are important to you. And we invite you to join in the conversation to share your stories, questions, and ideas. Our mission is to leave you with one small nugget that's simple, easy to add to your routine, and can have a profound impact on your life over time.
If you want to be healthy, strong, happy, and live your best life, then you found the right place.
Outside Health and Fitness, and we're live. And this is episode number 6. Is that right?
No, number 7.
7?
Yes,
all right.
7.
I already
Lucky.
lost one episode. I thought for sure it was number 6.
No, I think you just wanted it to be number 6. Number 7. 7 is a lucky number.
Okay, I like it.
So it should be number 7. Yeah.
That's great. 7's a lucky number.
Yeah.
So I'm here with Jessica Bailey, of course. Hello.
Hi. How's it going, Steve?
Good. How are you?
Good. At least it's not like freezing out today. It was like 40.
I know.
Better than
it was
2.
Yeah, I came back from lunch. I think it was like 19, and we were all thinking about, going outside for a walk or something.
Oh my God. I'm glad. Did you do it?
No.
No,
But
I think it's a wise idea.
it tells you something when 19 feels good. That tells you how cold it's been.
I know, right? Ugh.
Terrible.
It's only
so,
February.
So what are we talking about today?
So I want to talk about fitness foods. Like a lot of foods that you think are healthy are not. And, there's a lot of like ingredients and hard to pronounce words that are listed in these foods. And so we have compiled a list of like not so healthy foods that you think are healthy, but actually are not.
This is good. And I know from looking at the list and doing the research that I have fallen victim to all of these. And even after I know that they're not that good, sometimes I have them.
I know, me too. Oh, me too. You know why? It's because there's so much additives in them. They taste good.
That's
I
right.
know.
You're
I know. It's
addicted to
terrible.
them. All right,
But we're going to tell you why.
Okay, so let's give this a try. So I'm going to share my screen here, maybe, if I get the right one, and then I'll bring up the presentation. Oh, you know what I have to do? I got to lock this in. Okay. I told myself not to forget that. Okay, entire screen, share, infinity. Okay. All right, so I have to check with you, Jessica. Are you seeing the full slideshow?
Yes, I am.
All right, that's good then. That means we're on. We're doing it.
Okay.
Okay, so there's somebody holding a big glass of orange juice. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about on this show. So we're going to talk about why some of the foods that we thought were healthy might not be so healthy and they're working against us. And Jessica, you got this one.
So on today's show, we'll discover why some of the foods you thought were healthy might not be so healthy and alternatives that will help keep you on track.
Yep, that's right. And we're also going to review some apps and resources at the end that can help you make better, more informed choices. In fact, one of those apps is something that I used when I was doing this research to help me understand what was wrong with some of these foods that I thought were healthy. Whoa. So the first one is trail mix. And this one I've fallen victim to multiple times. And even though I know better, I still fall victim to it sometimes because it's so darn good. But when you're out on the trail, having this trail mix with all of these calories in it is good because you're really putting out a lot of energy. You need that fuel on the trail. But when you're sitting around the house, you're just eating tons and tons of calories. And the thing that really gets you is, have you seen those bags? I don't know how to describe them, but they're kind of like you could probably put 2 sandwiches in the bag. That's how big it is. Sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Those are gross.
Yeah, they're huge. And the thing is, you look on the back and they go, well, it's only 200 calories per serving. And you go, all right, well, that's not too bad. But then there's 11 servings in the bag. And I usually don't figure that out until I finish the bag.
Of course you don't.
So I look around and I go,
same exact thing.
I just ate enough calories for like 2 days.
Right.
So that's part of the problem. The other problem with some of the trail mix is that they contain tons of sugar, anywhere from 2.5 to 3 teaspoons of sugar per serving. And again, if there's 10 or 11 servings in the bag, that is a lot of sugar. If you can imagine sitting down and just eating that many teaspoons of sugar, ugh. They also have artificial.
It's disgusting.
Oh, it is. They also have artificial colors. There's stuff in there that you can't pronounce. There's ingredients that have numbers after them. Ugh, not good. So the best idea is to try to stay away from the trail mix if you can. Now, let's see, if you want to go with a better option, almonds is a good way to go because they're not low fat, but the fat that is in almonds is the good kind of fat. It's not the bad kind, and you get a good source of vitamin E, magnesium, and manganese, which I love to say, manganese.
That's a good word.
It is a good word. So that's what I got there. Now, are you saying that the slides, when you talk, the slides are going to you?
It's coming off of me, and it's just going to, my picture instead of the actual slide.
Oh, it is? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I've got another computer up here, so we'll kind of stop talking about that for a second, and I'll see if I can find the live version, so I can just kind of monitor it from over here.
Should I do a song and dance to entertain the troops? Well,
sure. Well, into your thing if you want to.
All right.
Because you're going to talk about protein bars.
Yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about is healthy protein bars, like Cliff bars, think Thin bars, Soy Joy bars, Power bars. They're all like chock full of sugar, and these healthy bars are really the worst offenders. I mean, the advertisement for them is very wonderful because they're in bright packaging and, they're only a couple of bucks, so you want to get them. But, each bar, most of the time, has like 6 teaspoons of sugar. And this goes for those Cliff bars. They are empty calories. And so most of them contain 230 calories per bar and only 10 grams of protein. So it sounds like, all right, not so bad. But you know what? You're going to be hungry by the time, your workout's over if you eat that before you work out.
Yeah, so that's another one of those things where the marketers are really kind of tricking us a little bit.
Oh,
right?
yeah, definitely.
I mean, it looks like it's a healthy package, but if you flip it over, it's just the same thing as a candy bar.
Right, yeah. They're glorified candy bars is what they are. That's why, and they also taste delicious because they're not good for you.
That's right.
And so the next one I have is the Think Thin bars.
Oh,
those...
Oh, I should go backwards then. I just went on to the good sources of protein.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we can go to good sources of protein. So instead of having these glorified candy bars, you should just eat real food.
Right.
Like real food. Like have some chicken, have some fish, eggs. A lot of people don't eat eggs anymore, and there's a lot of talk like the egg yolks are bad for you. They will create bad cholesterol in your body, when in fact egg yolks are healthy. And, as part of a balanced diet, eggs won't hurt. So your liver produces more cholesterol per day, about 1 to 2 grams more than you digest. So I really recommend that you eat the whole egg.
I like it.
And most people are not going to have a heart attack unless they are getting thousands of grams of cholesterol a day. So don't worry. Have the egg.
Yeah, there's a lot of, which is great because I love eggs. In fact, I had eggs for breakfast this morning. But and there's a lot of talk out there too about how eggs, and I find this to be true, they are a good source of protein, but they also keep you full for a good long time.
Yeah, they do.
And it, so I love this new look at eggs because you're right. I mean, they had a really bad rap for a long time. Yeah,
they did. I know. Well, an egg yolk boasts fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, and they have protein in them. And so if you're just eating egg whites, you're not really getting the fat-soluble vitamins out of them. So I really think you should just do it.
I love it.
Eat the egg.
Eat the egg. Okay.
Eat the egg.
So listen, while you were doing your thing, I did check, and it looks like everything's working okay. We're still just seeing the presentation. So
Okay, great.
this is
Okay,
good
good.
news.
Yes, it is very good news.
Good news. So the next one that I have is sports drinks. And, you know, once again, the marketers have done a really good job here because it makes it look like this is something that an active, healthy person consumes, so this must be good for me, it must be healthy for me. The problem is when you take a look at the ingredients in there, there's a lot of ingredients that you can't pronounce. You know, I had a nutritionist on my other show a while back, and she told me that, you know, when there's an ingredient that you can't pronounce, you probably shouldn't be eating it, which is a great rule of thumb. And she also said if it has numbers after it, it's probably not natural, which is true because
Right.
you don't have orange number 14 growing on a tree. You know, you just have orange. That's all you have.
That's true.
So if you look at the second ingredient in a lot of these sports drinks, is sugar. So, you know, a lot of these sports drinks, yeah, they give you some energy, but that's because of the sugar, and you're just going to crash afterwards. These are basically just sugar water. And if you're looking for these to hydrate, one great natural drink that you can have instead would just be water. And in doing this research, I was amazed to find out that 75% of all Americans are chronically dehydrated. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, that's really awful.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it is interesting. I mean, I know that I've been tracking my water, and it is hard to get all of the water that you should get on a daily basis. In fact, the way to do it, they used to say 8 ounces, you know, eight ounce glasses of water, which works out pretty good if you're 120 or 130 pounds. But if you weigh more or less than that, then that number isn't quite right for you. So a better way to go is take your body weight, divide it in half, and that's the ounces per day that you should be consuming in terms of water.
Oh, that's good. That's great.
And clearly, it does a lot of good stuff for you.
Yeah. You know, and why it's probably really hard to get all of your water in is because most people are drinking like soda, or they're drinking those sports drinks to hydrate instead of hydrating with water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, we're all kind of, you know, for me it's coffee. You know, I probably drink too much coffee, and I should have a water instead, you know.
Right.
And it's one of those things that you just kind of have to force yourself to do, but when you do, it's amazing how much better you feel.
Right. And you know what? If you are really paying attention to how much water you drink, you're not going to end up eating that much crap. Because
good point.
Your body is like, needs something, and it's getting the nutrition from the water instead of from the jelly beans or whatever it is of your choosing.
That's a great point. I mean, and I find that to be true too, is if, you know, when I'm really focused on it and I'm trying to hydrate like I should, I don't eat as much. I don't feel like I need to snack or whatever. I feel, you know, satisfied because of the water. That's a good point.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. There we go.
Milk. So, skim milk or low-fat milk. And really, the truth of the matter is you should avoid the low-fat options and choose whole milk instead. Did I say milk? Weird. Milk. You should choose
no, I don't think
whole
so.
milk. All right, did it? Okay, maybe it was just in my head. It came out weird. So, yes, skim milk and low-fat milk have lower calories, but whole milk has more saturated and monounsaturated fats to keep you feeling full, and it supports your metabolism and improves your body composition. So without the fat, skim milk and low-fat milks also have less fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, just like those eggs.
Right. I'm always worried when they do like low-fat something because it's kind of like, I know you took the fat out, but what did you put in place of it?
I know.
And it could be one of those things that we can't pronounce.
Well, you know, because skim milk doesn't resemble real milk when it's harvested, the people that produce them, like let's just call them producers, they add powdered milk into skim milk to improve its consistency.
Ugh. Powdered
Isn't that
milk.
disgusting?
It is.
Yeah.
I remember powdered milk. There was this
didn't.
thing, I'm not sure if you're old enough to remember this or not, but there was this thing back, it was probably in the early 70s, where for whatever reason, the government was giving us government cheese and powdered milk. There was some sort of a big milk crisis back then. And I'm telling you, this isn't a dream. I really lived through this, I swear. But everybody had powdered milk. And what my mother would do is my mother would mix real milk with powdered milk, so it was kind of like half and half, which was kind of okay. But there were parents out there that were just straight on powdered milk. And I remember going to a friend's house, and we're playing outside, and we're roughhousing, and we're doing all this stuff. And his mother goes, "You kids want something to drink?" And we're like, "Yeah." So we go in, and she just puts a big thing of powder in a glass, and then pours like warm tap water over it, stirs it up, and gives it to us. And it's like just gray and disgusting. Ugh.
Oh, it sounds nasty.
It was awful. I don't know what that milk crisis was. I have to look that up at some point.
I think you should look it up. I really want to know that information, that there was a milk crisis.
It was a milk crisis. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. Well, I need to hear it. So that's your assignment this week.
Okay, I gotta
Find out
look
about
that up.
that milk crisis.
Yeah. Maybe it never happened, and it was just the powdered milk that caused this thing in my brain to happen. Do you think?
No, I think it's very likely.
I think it could have happened that way. Okay, so we'll move on. Are you all set with the milk thing?
Yeah. So really, drink whole milk.
Drink whole
Avoid
milk.
the low fat or skim milk.
And
That's
no powdered milk.
No, do not have. Oh no, don't do that. Did you just not listen to the story that you told? It was gross.
Okay, so whole milk it is. All right.
Okay.
So we'll move on to the next one. So rice cakes is the next one, which was actually kind of a surprise to me because I would have thought, there's this rule of thumb that I sometimes go by, and that is if it tastes horrifically bad, it's probably good for me. Have you ever lived by that law before?
Nope.
Just me. Okay.
I think that is a Steve Stearns original.
It's my own nutritional rule, but I know that that's flawed. But I always thought rice cakes must be nutritionally good because there's not much to them. They're pretty darn bland. And what I found was they are, in fact, low in calories, but they're also low in nutrition. There's almost nothing redeeming about them from a nutrition standpoint. The other thing that's a little scary about them is because they're so bland, they started coming out with all these different flavors, like you'd have chocolate ones and caramel ones and all that. And the problem with those is that they have a lot of artificial flavors and different things in them that cause their glycemic index to go up. It spikes people's blood sugars, which makes them hungry and want to eat more, and the whole thing is out of control. So the bottom line on the rice cakes is skip them.
I would say so. Look at them. They're disgusting looking.
Ugh.
I wouldn't want to put that in my body.
No, it's kind of like, have you had one before?
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course I've had one.
Ugh.
But they taste like air. Nothing.
There's
and
nothing.
You can tell that there's no nutritional value in them. Look at them. They're just, what? Like, where there's, like...
Yeah, it's like styrofoam.
Good for you ingredients hiding in the middle? Probably not. No.
No. It's yeah, ugh, terrible. And, the only way I was ever able to eat them was to put something else on them, like peanut butter or something else anyway.
Right.
So
really what you were just eating was peanut butter and
air.
Air.
Right. Something to hold the peanut butter while I put it in my mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
so
came in handy for that.
That's right. Skip the rice cakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, bread is the next offender on this list.
Oh, no.
I mean, just look at this picture, right?
Love bread.
Look how many ingredients are in the bread. Bread does not have that many ingredients. Right? You can look at this and you're like, this is fake. I mean, there's partially hydrogenated oil, high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners. I mean, it's really like, not all grains are created equal.
No.
And wheat breads should contain pure whole grains, and not all of them do. So most labels that say like multigrain or 7-grain, they may still use refined flour. So whole wheat or 100% natural breads may have few real grains. So you really got to pay attention to what's on the label.
Yeah.
And a lot of breads contain partially hydrogenated oil. So really pay attention to like the ingredients. It should not be partially hydrogenated oil should not be like third on the list. That's
Right.
not in any kind of bread.
And that high fructose corn syrup, I mean, our bodies can't even process that.
I know. Did
They're
you
not
ever
even
see
made.
that commercial of the company was trying to like prove that high
Yes.
fructose corn syrup was good for you? I
Yes.
was like, lie. What is that?
That's right. Was it? It was like a guy and a girl at a picnic or something, right?
Yeah, and they were like walking through cornfields
Yeah.
because that's normal. Hey,
Sure.
we like to walk through cornfields on our date.
Yeah, we do that all the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy because I do remember that commercial because I think she was trying to convince him. He was going like, "Wait a second, there's high fructose corn syrup in this," and she's like, "What? It's just corn and sugar. That's
Corn
fine."
sugar. It's easy
Okay.
to digest it. I know. I know. Right? No one. Don't listen to that commercial. Oh,
Not
the
good.
commercial. Like every single time it was on, I just wanted to like throw my shoe at it. Like, shut up! Stop telling. You're lying to me.
Your shoe could be more nutritious than the bread.
Probably. There's no partially hydrogenated oil in it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so where should we go shopping instead?
So I really like Whole Foods because they have something on their website that really stuck with me. Nothing that they carry in their store is artificial. Like they don't believe in artificial colors or flavors or sweeteners. Whole Foods sells whole foods. So go to your local bakery, get whole grain bread. Go to the store. I mean, and you know what? That stuff tastes really good.
Yeah.
And you won't have to have a lot of it to really be satisfied.
You know what's crazy, and you just made me think of this, is that I know people who are so used to the processed stuff that when you give them real food, they don't like it as much. Have you ever run into that before?
Oh my God, that's my brother.
Oh, it's crazy.
My
I think it's
brother
a
and my
lot of
sister-in-law.
people.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm from Nebraska, and so my whole family lives in Nebraska. And you would think we live off the land, but we don't.
Yeah.
So my brother and my sister-in-law, they eat out of a box. Like everything comes from a box. They go shopping at Walmart, and you know they have like food that can be made in 20 minutes. Well, guess what? Beef stroganoff should not take 20 minutes from a box since all the ingredients are not there. So when I come home and like I actually like cook them a meal, they get mad at me when I'm cutting up onions or I'm using garlic or something because they don't know what that is. They think it's disgusting. They're like, ew, an onion, a piece of garlic. Oh no.
Well, it's
These are real foods.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I mean, the place that I see it a lot is in maple syrup. If you
Oh my God.
so if you
Yes.
if you have real maple syrup, there are people that are like, ugh, and it's like
Right.
they prefer the stuff that's processed. You know?
They prefer Aunt Jemima because there's a whole bunch of sugar in it.
Yeah, and I totally get it because it is so hard not to get used to that stuff. You know, I mean, it's
Right.
much easier most of the time. Like you're saying, like eating out of a box, it's just easier sometimes. So people
Right.
kind of get into that. You kind of get into that flow, and then it's kind of crazy to think about. It's like the real food doesn't taste as good to you as the man-made processed stuff. Weird.
Right? I know. I think it's weird too.
So, we wanted to talk about some apps and some different resources that we think are helpful here in trying to make good choices in terms of eating. And one of the ones, and I know you've got a couple too that I don't have on the list here, but I want you to talk about the ones that you use also. Waterlogged is one that I've been using lately to try to help myself stay hydrated, and I find it to be very helpful. I find that I'm very motivated to go into the app and say, yep, I just had a glass of water, and it kind of shows me on this water bottle, that's a picture of it there on the left, shows me how much water I've consumed for the day versus my goal. And it kind of reminds me that, hey, it's been a while since you drank any water. You want to get some water? So it's really been very helpful. Now, is there one that you're using something like that, right?
I use this app called Water Mind Me, And basically, there's like a little alarm on it, and it goes off every time you should drink water. And they're saying like every time you drink like 8 ounces of water, like a glass of water, right?
Yep.
It's nothing ridiculous. So I was doing this for a while because it was fun to like try to get all of your water in for the day. And I would hydrate so much. And when you hydrate a lot, what happens?
You've got to go to the bathroom a lot.
Go to the bathroom. Right, correct. So I was with my husband in the car. I'm like, I got to stop. I got to go. I used to use the restroom. And my water my little alarm goes off, like, time to hydrate. And so while I have to go to the bathroom so desperately, I'm chugging a whole bunch of water. And my husband's looking at me like, what are you doing? You have to go to the bathroom. Don't put more in. Like, just wait a few minutes. But you know what? It does its job because it was super fun at the beginning.
Yeah.
I had to try to get all my water in for the day. It was great.
Yeah, it is one of those things that I think it's, and I know what you mean by that too. It's like I've done that with a million apps. I get started with them and I go, oh, this is really cool, this is great, and then I kind of lose interest and they go away.
Oh yeah.
But I think it does. Even when the app goes away, it does help to build that habit. You just start getting used to doing that, and your body wants it. Your body wants that water. So
yeah, it's true. It's true.
So
it's really unfortunate. It's unfortunate how we get excited about apps and you're living your life, devoted to this app, and then it loses a little steam. It's just like anything else, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's whatever the new shiny object is, I think.
Yeah, it's true.
So the next one there on the list is called Fujicate, which is an amazing app that I strongly recommend, particularly if you are interested in trying to eat better. It's not about being perfect. It's just about trying to eat better, make little changes here and there. And this Fujicate app really helps a lot because it has this vast database where they've graded different foods based on their nutritional value. And not only do they grade the food, but they also show you other options, things that might be better. So you can literally walk through the grocery store and say, I want to purchase this brand of something, and you can scan the barcode right into your phone, and Fujicate will say, great job, that one's rated A, it's a very healthy, good choice. And then maybe on another one they might say, it's C, and here's why, and here's a couple things we think might be a better choice for you. So it's a really easy way to make some better choices.
That sounds great. Oh, I got to look that up.
Yeah, it's an awesome app.
Yeah, that sounds great. I could use that, especially when I'm grocery shopping. Sometimes I get very overwhelmed if I'm not at my home grocery store and I don't know where everything is.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have that thing too? Like you go into
absolutely.
a store and you know exactly what you need and exactly where to get it.
Yep.
And if I am at a foreign grocery store,
yep.
I don't know. All of a sudden, like, maybe I'm not making the right food choices. I don't know. So this app would help.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's really handy for that. And I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes you go into the same chain of stores, but they've got the whole thing flipped around backwards or something. It's like, well, wait, shouldn't the watermelons be over there, but they're over here? What's going on? So now, did you have you had 2 apps that we talked about, right?
Yeah, so the app that I use for my food intake is called My Net Diary. And I am really conscious about like how much fiber and calcium I get in a day, and where I get that from. And like each meal, I want to make sure that I am getting so much fiber and so much calcium. And this app allows me to enter in what I've eaten for the day, and it tells me like, you have 92% more calcium that you need to get through the day, which is great because I'm not always aware of like how much calcium I'm getting and how much is in every single thing that I eat. And this app helps keep me honest. Because if I am eating the jelly beans or whatever, I have to enter that in. And that's not so fun when you're like, oh my God, I just ingested 800 calories. Jelly beans.
So when you put it in, it actually breaks down the nutritional value of the food that you ate. Nice.
Yeah, it does. Well, I guess if that's something that is not of interest to you, you can just see like how many calories it is. But
Yeah.
that is something that is of interest to me, and that's why I track my food, because I want to know what has the most fiber. By the way, raspberries have the most fiber in fruit. They have 11 grams. Didn't know that until I got this app, and I was like, "Whoa, I better
That's
eat raspberries every single day if I need to get my fiber intake."
That's awesome. I love raspberries. That's good news.
I know. Well, so I know, and they're coming in. Well, they aren't in season until like May.
Yeah,
Don't
they're
eat
way
them now because they're all like
yeah.
genetically processed.
Yeah, that's right. They've been on the shelf for a couple of years.
Yeah.
The that sounds very much like that third app that I have there called Lose It, which is an app that I've used. I'm not using it currently, but I've used it in the past, and same sort of thing. It's kind of a calorie counting app. It will break out the nutritional value of what you eat. The thing that I really liked about it was not only would it would keep me honest as to how much food I was eating or how many calories I was eating during the day, but it also, there was like this weird little mental reward whenever I worked out, because it would put some calories in the bank for me. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's what my Net Diary does, the same thing.
Yeah. So it was this kind of interesting, like, I want to work out so that I can put it in my app so I can get more points. It was this weird thing that was happening, but in the end it worked out well because it kept me accountable for what I was eating and also kind of prompted me to work out more. So that's another great app if people are looking to eat better, because it does kind of put it right in your face.
That's great.
It's amazing when you start tracking your food, because you kind of go back and look at it and go, whoa, really? I ate all that today? You don't really think about it if you're not tracking it.
Right. Well, that's why they say, nutritionists have said for years, like, you should keep a food diary. Well, not only with these apps is it fun, but it keeps you honest.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. And I mean, I got to say, every single time I have a meal, I can't wait until I'm done with my meal so I can enter it into my app. So I can find out, okay, what did I really get? Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I must have had so much fiber. I must have done so well at my lunch. And then I enter it in, and I'm like, oh,
that was
didn't do so well there.
Right.
Oops.
Yeah, it is interesting. We're totally app geeks, apparently, you and I.
Yeah, I know. It's true. Maybe we shouldn't admit it.
So we're going to have we'll have links to these apps in the show notes for this episode, whether it's episode 6 or 7, whichever one of those it is, I don't know. And you can find out about that on bestlifeshow.com. That's where we will have this listed. And let me stop sharing here. While I'm doing that, you should probably tell a joke or something.
Okay. Well, I don't really have a lot of jokes to share. But next week, Wednesday at 8 o'clock, we're doing a show with a guest, and he's an expert. His name is Bob Choate, and he's going to talk about health and wellness, and we're going to ask him lots of questions. And if you have any questions that you want to ask him about ways that you can improve your lifestyle, hit us up on Twitter at LYBestLife, or send us an email, or just go to bestlifeshow.com, and there will be links to all of our social media, and we will ask him for you.
That's great.
And then you can hear the honest answer, not just us making up answers.
That's right. So awesome. So that's next Wednesday, the 18th at 8 p.m.
At 8 p.m. Yep. And then the next week after that, we have a show, and the week after that, we have a show. So you're good for your Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock.
All right.
We will entertain you.
That's right. You can just make it part of your, what they used to call it, must-see TV, right?
Yes. Your must-see Google Hangout on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock.
The Best Life Show.
Best Life Show.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye-bye.